From being doubted to becoming one of, if not the greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, Kelsey Plum made a special effort to carve her own path to success. But even after breaking all those records at the college level to becoming a pro, something she always imagined since a kid, deep down, something wasn't right and things got pretty dark for her. She just managed to keep pushing and never gave up, which helped allow her to overcome all adversity. This is the Kelsey Plum story. Kelsey Plum was born on August 24, 1994 in Poway, California to Katie and Jim Plum. Her mother was a tremendous volleyball player at the University of California, and her father was also a thriving athlete on the baseball and football field collegiately at San Diego State. Now Kelsey also has two older sisters as well as a younger brother, and they all were stellar athletes of themselves as they all played at the Division I levels. But coming up in the Plum household, from the time she was just a toddler, something that they all had in common was that competitive mindset, as every little thing was a competition.
My dad is different. My dad is, everything was a competition. Like even as a baby, sitting in the high chair, he would put food and you would grab it and you'd pull it away. And he would be like, Plumber, you gotta take it. You gotta take it if you want it. You know, as a kid, we'd go to restaurants and my dad would pay the bill, get in the car, and drive off. And if you didn't catch the car, like you were gonna get left. You had to walk home.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was just, it was always a great time, having a ton of fun, but everything was a competition.
So once it came to any type of sport she played growing up, what really separated herself from a lot of kids her age was the fact that she already had that grit and toughness type trait inside of her. As in her eyes, she could practically compete and hold her own against anybody when it came to anything. But as she started to fall in love with basketball, someone who really inspired her was Diana Taurasi, as she was a true winner and never backed down from anybody, and was someone who really led by example. Those traits really rubbed off into Kelsey as she got older on the court. Once she put her mind to something, she truly always believed that she could accomplish it, even when she was doubted by one of her coaches as just a little kid.
I remember they bringing me in and one of the coaches was like, well, what do you want to do? Like, what's your aspiration? And I was like, I'm going to go play for Pat Summitt, and then I'm going to play in the league. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And I remember she started laughing. Like, the coach started laughing. I literally was like, what's so funny? And she's like, do you know how many kids want to do that? Yeah, basically, like, look at you. You know? Like, at the time, I was probably like 5'4" and pissed off. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're laughing at me. And I remember I went home and told my parents, and they were just like, prove it wrong.
Now she would do just that. As she got older, she would start waking up at 5 a.m. all just to go to the gym, to work on every single aspect of her game, as she was determined that she was going to reach her goals, no matter how long it was going to take. And because of that, she would start to become a problem on the basketball court during her high school years, because while attending La Jolla Country Day School, her smooth feel for the game allowed her to improve every single year, which did allow her to end her high school career scoring a total of 2,247 points. And the combinations of her picture-perfect jump shots while controlling the game with her playmaking ability allowed her to average 20 points while recording 677 rebounds, but was also able to dish out 381 assists. Now, because of her solid two-way ability, Plum also recorded 370 steals throughout her time in high school. Now, her and her crew didn't experience much losing, as throughout her 4 years, her team maintained a record of 103-22, and because of that, they were able to win 4 section titles in the 2012 CIF Division IV State Championship. Plum's significant improvement allowed her to become a McDonald's All-American, but was also named Mrs. California Basketball. Plum was rated as a 4-star recruit and the 26th best ranked prospect according to ESPN in her class of 2013. Now, at this point in time, she had racked up offers from schools all across the country, with Washington, Gonzaga, Oregon, Maryland, and Virginia being some of her top ones. But she made the ultimate decision to sign a letter of intent to play college basketball at the University of Washington. Coming into her freshman season, it was practically the best position for her, as her coach truly believed in her, as you really noticed her desire and leadership, which allowed him to make the decision to name her team captain as just a freshman. That season, she set 6 Washington freshman records. Her total points scored of 695 were the most ever by a freshman. Now her game high that season with 38 points was a freshman record, and because of that, she earned Freshman of the Year honors for the Pac-12 conference. Now that next season, right out of the gate, she simply went off. And this was during her season opener against Oklahoma, where she would set a new school record, going off for 45 points. And as she was able to put up 22 points per game, that was good enough to help her team advance to the NCAA tournament. Now her junior season, she took that next step, as her 26 points per game ranked first in the Pac-12 and fourth in the entire nation, but also willed her team to the big stage of the Final Four of the NCAA tournament. Now, even though the magical run did come to an end, it was like she was breaking nearly every single record. During her senior campaign on February 25th, 2017, Kelsey simply went off for 57 points in a win over Utah, which gave her the NCAA women's basketball career scoring record. Plum went on to end her senior season with a total of 1,109 points, which was the NCAA women's basketball single season record. She also would go on to end her senior campaign becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer with 3,527 career points.
Cheering on Kelsey Plum, and a little bit of a smile on her face as she has just become the all-time leading scorer.
After her remarkable career at Washington, she decided to enter the 2017 NBA draft, where she would be selected first overall by the San Antonio Stars, which did mark the first time in history that the first overall pick from the NBA and Markelle Fultz and the WNBA came from the same school of the University of Washington in the same year. And while it may have seemed as though that she was living out her dream that she always imagined as a kid, deep down inside, truthfully, she felt empty.
Like, I was depressed, suicidal. The satisfaction I thought I was going to get for whatever, scoring those points, breaking those records, winning those awards, getting drafted #1 was going to fix my emptiness or the lack of identity that I had for myself. You know, I literally had no idea who I was, and I lived on the 7th or 8th floor. And so when I drove on the parking structure, I would just drive up to the top and park, and I remember I would just sit out at night on top of the structure and just dangle my legs over and just cry. I remember one night I called Markelle Fultz. Me and him were really close in college, and I thought it was the night. I thought it was it. I just kept thinking, like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be something else. Like, I can't let this be it.
Now, her rookie season was a big learning curve, as her team finished with the second worst record in the league. Now, because she only averaged 9 points a contest, a lot of people were calling her a bust due to the crazy high expectations people had for her in her rookie season. Now, over time, as she just stayed with it, things did get better. And not too long after, the San Antonio Stars relocated in Las Vegas and would be renamed to the Las Vegas Aces. That sophomore season, Plum improved every statistical category, averaging more points, rebounds, and assists with a higher shooting percentage. And Kelsey really contributed to her team winning 6 more contests than the previous year. During the 2019 season, the Aces would finish the season as the #4 seed, making the playoffs for the first time since 2014. And Plum did her thing, as she averaged double digits for the entire playoffs until losing the semifinals to the Washington Mystics. Now, in June of 2020, while playing 3-on-3 pickup basketball, she would tear her Achilles. And as she was forced to make her comeback in rehab during the pandemic, she was determined to come back. And after just 10 months away from the court, she returned and participated in the FIBA 3-on-3 Olympics.
After you just tore your Achilles, some players never come back or never come back the same. And you, 1 year later, you're here winning your ticket to the Olympics.
I just want to thank a lot of people. God, my mom, my family, my friends. I want to thank USA Basketball. They could have quit on me. They could have said, we're going to bring somebody else. And they didn't.
As she made her return back on the Aces, she was putting up career numbers of 15 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, while shooting 39% from 3 and 94% from the free throw line. But didn't stop there. She won the WNBA 6th Player of the Year while finishing 2nd in the WNBA for Most Improved Player voting. Now, as a starter in 2022, Kelsey became a first-time All-Star, where she won All-Star MVP after putting up 30. Now, she would help lead her team to beat the Connecticut Suns in 4 games, giving Plum her first championship ring, but even turned around the following year and made even more strides, like when she dropped a career-high 40 points in a win versus the Minnesota Lynx on July 9, 2023, as well as becoming a 2-time WNBA champion. At every level, Kelsey Plum always had that fierce and competitive drive inside of her, and even when it may have seemed as though she hit rock bottom, she knew she came too far to end it all. And because she just stayed with it, she's now a 2-time WNBA champion.
Try to say whatever they want about us, but at the end of the day, you can't teach what's in here. You know what I'm saying? We care about each other. Las Vegas, we love you. We represent you everywhere we go. And when I said we're just getting started last year, I meant that. There's a core that wants to be here, and we're gonna win games for y'all. And it's so gratifying. Oh my gosh, God is so good.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kelsey Plum story.